Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Mentor Monday. Mentor Monday is your weekly microdose of encouragement, inspiration, and miracle grow on your potential as a coach. Today, we are streaming across all three major platforms. Hopefully, it's working for everybody. Listen, if you're on Instagram and you have any glitches today, you know what? You can go to our Facebook page or you can go to our YouTube and make sure that we get a glitch-free experience because Instagram sometimes doesn't play very nicely. I see that Christina has made it in the room from Mexico. Welcome, Christina. As you're making it into the room, please say hello to us. Tell us where you're joining us from, one thing that you're excited about, and one of the things that tells YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, all those people, that we're doing a great job. It's just simply that you like and that you comment as we're in there. But we love to interact with you. So that's what always drives these things. You know, the topics that we come up with and everything else always comes from our relationship with our coaches and anybody who's watching us along the way. Maybe you're just an aspiring coach, or maybe you are a coach right now. Again, as you're making it into the room, make sure that you say hello to us. Tell us your name and where you're joining us from. One thing that you're excited about. Also, if you have questions about what we're talking about today, and what we are talking about today is we're talking about essentially creative blocks. The topic that we had really, when we were wrestling around with it, because sometimes I hate titling things because I might be actually teaching you to do the wrong thing whenever I title something. But what we did do is we said what to do when you are completely out of ideas. What do you do when you're out of ideas? Now, some of you are coaches and you're always trying to stay on the edge. You're trying to stay sharp. You want to have creative ideas flowing all the time. And so this is definitely for you. But let me say this as well. Many of you are going to be coaching people who have creative blocks, or they're going to be writers and they're going to say, I have writer's cramp. I have writer's block. If you're coaching an athlete, they might say, oh, I'm in a slump or whatever. And so you're going to have people who are coming to you for these things. And how can we simply help people get unstuck and stay in a flow? Let me say hello to a couple of people who are popping on here. Cynthia from St. Louis. Welcome, Cynthia. Sarah, she says, I'm from Pittsburgh. I'm super excited that I officially launched my business today. Way to go, Sarah. That is awesome. Santos is joining us from Stockton. Dolores is joining us from the Bay Area. Welcome, Dolores. Desiree joining us from Texas. Welcome, Desiree. And there's Claire joining us from Brooklyn. Claire, it's the strangest thing. I woke up and the first thought that I had this morning was Brooklyn. I have no idea why, but I'm so glad that you're here. Adriana, who's joining us from Boston, welcome. Appreciate all of you. And so let's do this. How do you get, if you are out of ideas, if you feel like, man, I have come up with everything and now I'm out of ideas, what do I actually do? And how do I help other people? Well, I think where we've got to start, first place that you've got to start is in your belief systems and truly what you're saying. Because a person who tells me that they are creatively blocked, if somebody tells me they are in a slump, if somebody comes to me and tells me, everyone has come up with every idea, I've come up with everything about this topic that I possibly can. You know what they're telling me? And especially as a coach, if I believe their story, I'm not going to be able to help them. The first thing that has created the problem is actually the very statement that's coming out of their mouth. If you are a person who is literally saying right now, I am out of ideas, that is such a far-fetched expression if I've ever heard one. Have you really come up with every idea that you're going to come up with? And I don't care if you are in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s like me, if you're in your 50s, you've lived a long time or whatever, you have not come up with every idea that you possibly can for anything in your life up to this point. Let me give you an example. Let's just think about on the earth. We've been on the earth for a really long time. We probably would all agree that humans have been on the earth for a really long time, right? Well, we have. But do you know that in the entire earth that we have only explored 5% of the oceans? And we really haven't fully explored land either. We would say that, that we've been somewhere about 80% of the planet, that there's at least people in the process of exploring it, but it hasn't really been explored. Now, what we know is that the Earth it has limits, right? I mean, it's not infinite. Everything that is really is. But what do we have constantly going on? We have constantly new explorers, and we constantly have new breakthrough discoveries that are changing what we used to think. Like, it wasn't really that long ago that people thought that the maximum memory that anyone would actually need on their computer was somewhere around like 56K, like less than like half a meg of memory that you would need for maybe your entire lifetime. There was people who actually thought that not so long ago. You have one picture on your phone that has ridiculous amount of memory and detail. Why is this? Because there's always new breakthrough discoveries. There's always someone who is rising up in any field. Whatever has been thought about, whatever has been created up to now has not fully been studied, has not been fully discovered, and has not been fully thought out. It doesn't matter what you bring to me, nothing has been completely explored, and there is still more to be said. There's not a period at the end of anything. So when someone comes to me and they say that they are all out of creative ideas, the only thing that they have done is they've put a lid on their ability to think differently, and they have told themselves that there is no more exploration that's going to happen. Like, if somebody comes to me and they have put a period on the end of anything, I can't really help them. So anyone who starts with a statement saying, I don't have any ideas left, I have a creative block, I have a slump, you know what their biggest problem is between their ears. It's actually what they believe about their problem is greater than the problem. So that's the first place that we've all got to start. So any of you who are dealing with creative cramps or any of those other kinds of things, we've got to change what you are saying. You're saying something that's setting a limit. You are saying something that, you know what your subconscious does for you? You know what the creative part of you does? It waits on you to give it permission to go out and look for things for you. And the people who believe that they have no ability to create and to reach out and find anything, you know what you do? You keep finding the same thing. If you say that you're creatively blocked, you know what? That's what you keep finding, is you keep finding blocks. But even worse is that you're coming from a place of lack. And if you believe that you are not a resource to yourself, if you believe that resources have been exhausted, then what you have done, coming from lack, you will not find what you're looking for. I'll give you an example from my own life. Many years ago when I was in college, and it has been many years ago now. It's weird. It doesn't seem like it should have been that long ago, but we're talking decades now. And I remember I had this job, and it was the worst sales job of all time. And it had an upside of making a ton of money. But the downside of it was there was no guarantees that you were going to get paid. They would give you like $300 a week, but that was a draw towards your commission because it was a straight commission job. Anything that you sell, and the average job was 10 grand, you would make 20% of that. But the reality is that the sales of the job and everything else was just like really hard. And what our managers believed was the best atmosphere for all the sales team was to always be in a sell or starve mentality. That if you were starving, then you would show up to work and you would work harder and everything else. But the reality is that sell or starve doesn't really make creative people. It actually makes people who are less creative. It makes you sit in a desperate position. And what happens is that the creative portion of your brain turns off, and the survival part of your brain kicks in. And survival instinct is terrible with regard to creativity, because trying to come up with something quickly and trying to come up with something when you have no resources is really bad. So I would watch guys not only not be creative, but they would actually start doing stuff that really was exposing their character, like in the way that they would manipulate people and sales appointments and everything else. It was like really, really gnarly. Coming from lack creates survival instinct, which is not creative. What does survival instinct does? What does it do for us? It helps us find the exit. It helps us find the escape, or it helps us find the jugular of whoever is trying to kill us so that we can take them out. That's what survival instinct was actually made for, okay? And that's not how we want to operate. We want to operate from abundance, to believe that, hey, you know what? Whatever life is throwing at me, whatever is going on in this moment right now, I actually have an opportunity to look around, see what's going on, and to experience it, to respond to it. Whatever is going on, that there is something that I haven't seen yet, something that I haven't grabbed upon. So the first thing that we have to start with is our mindset. We have to start managing what we say, and we have to put ourselves in a position to start receiving what's around us. What's the creative opportunity? What am I missing up to now? So how do I do that? Well, first thing is, hey, I'm going to kick that language to the curb, and I'm going to speak the language of possibilities. What is true in the moment? What is true is I do need more inspiration. I do need to explore. That's what it is. It's like, it's not to say, oh, there's nothing out here, there's no more creativity. No, what it is, it's a call to explore. It's a call to, hey, what have I not looked at? What have I not been inspiring myself with? Because if I have a lack of creativity, if I feel like that, what it really is, it's a lack of inspiration. I haven't been putting myself in inspiring places to hear from the sources, to draw from sources, so that I have greater resources that are going on in my life. So I have to switch. The first question that I would ask somebody who says that they're in a slump, that's like, oh, really? Have you really explored everything? Have you I can ask that question that brings doubt in someone's heart. But I have to ask the questions of, how can I inspire myself right now? What are the quickest ways that I can inspire creativity? One of the things that I always tell coaches to do in general is that you need to feed yourself. What is the creative flow? What are the inspiring things that actually happen in your life that trigger things? So for some of you, it might mean going out in nature. For some of you, it might mean listening to speakers. For some of you, it might mean reading something. I don't know what gives you life. I don't know what gives you juice, but you need to revisit those places. And this is a time if I feel like I'm out of creative juice, what it's really telling me is that I have broken out of the routine in my life to feed myself and to nurture my own soul. So what that means is that I have to go back to the places, and I have to go back to watering holes and everything else, so that I am sustaining my creative flow. And so the easiest thing to do is to look at the things that give you creative juice, but also to look in the times of the day. Like, I find that a lot of people can't draw from these sources because they're doing it in the worst possible moment. Like 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, for most people is not the time to start trying to write an ebook or try to write a blog or something like that. You're too tired. And so now for some of you, that's probably the best time to do it. You have to look at your life, at the things that give you juice, but also the times of the day when you have the best resources physically, mentally, and emotionally to do things. That's why you don't start your day reading CNN and Fox News. You don't start your day with news. You don't start your day with a bunch of social media and putting yourself in the crapper and using your most creative flow to get the same voices every day who are not creative voices. They're voices of fear, desperation, deception, limitation, telling you that you are middle class, that you are lower class, that you're a certain class of people who doesn't have a choice, and that your choices don't really matter at the end of the day, that you have one vote that doesn't really count. Any number of voices that are going on about health or any kinds of circumstances, the stock market. Listen, you have extraordinary power. If you believe that you actually have extraordinary power to think and to create, you are a dangerous, influential person. I don't mean dangerous like in some ways that people think dangerous. The people who are dangerous are the people who keep thinking the same thoughts every day and keep believing what everybody else is telling them, because they live the same lives over and over again. I'm not interested in being the man that I was 5 years ago. I'm not the man that I was a year ago. I'm not the same man I was 6 months ago. I'm not the same man that I was last week, because I understand that there are extraordinary places to look, that there are no limits to resources. There's no limits to my capability and the possibilities of asking more questions, of thinking new things about what I have thought about. Because if I think the same things about the person I was 5 years ago, my future looks like it did 5 years ago. And I'm not okay with that. And you can't be okay, because your brain is more vast than the oceans are. Like, we've explored 5% of the oceans and we never will fully explore it, because there are layers. Your brain, your creativity, your potential is so vast, you will never touch it in your entire life. And so we've got to put these protections around us. We've got to set boundaries on who we have around us, on what we listen to, on what we allow to inspire or to put the lid on us. Listen, some of you, I know I'm talking to you. Hit that like button, hit the comments, and share this with people, because you know people need to hear this. You are vast. You are limitless. The possibilities and the dreams and the thoughts that are available in you are completely infinite. And it's time to start relating to ourselves in reality, because that's what reality really is. If someone studied you for your entire life, the intricacies, even your DNA, they could study you for the rest of your life and they would never know who you really are, and they would never come to a limit of the layers. And it's time to start leaning into that. How do we lean into it? One, let's take the thoughts off. Let's take the lenses off that we're thinking about ourselves. Let's change our language and start opening up possibilities. Let's understand that routine actually helps us lean into when you're the most creative. Lean into the times when you're most inspired, and be very protective of the voices that you allow inside. Every day, challenge what you've believed up to now. If it's putting a lid on your potential, absolutely. Let me pay the bills really, really quickly, and then I'm going to take some little Q&A and respond to some people. If you have never gotten trained and certified as a coach, let me tell you really who we are. Life Coach Training Institute, we're the largest life coach training program in North America. We literally have coaches all over the world. And what we really want to be able to do during this time is to give you the opportunity to lean in right now. Whatever time is going on, whatever is happening in your life right now is an extraordinary time to be able to lean in, like to absolutely lean into the opportunity that's going on right now, and to become who you always wanted to be. And for some of you, it's to be a coach. It's to help other people get breakthrough. What we did years ago is we went fully online with our program. Why did we go fully online? Because it's extraordinarily expensive anyway to go in person, to rent a space, whatever you're going to do. There's all of these extraordinary expenses. And what ended up happening, because we were a pioneer in online education, is that we ended up becoming the largest life coach training program in North America. 20% of our students are outside the United States. So we are an internationally recognized school. Our online program is 10 core modules that you go on. It's on demand. You can literally enroll, be in 90 seconds, be jumping in your program to start going through those modules where we cover all of the core competencies of coaching. When you walk away from all of those modules, and of course there's activities at the end of each one of those modules to help you put into action what you are learning. At the end of those 10 modules is an exam. When you score above 70% on the exam, you've earned your credential. And there's unlimited retakes. If you don't pass the exam the first time, we don't charge you for retakes. We also give you a free listing on lifecoachmatch.com, certificate. All of those things are included in that $195 price tag. But some of you I know need business development help. I was one of those people that, most schools only teach you how to train, how to do coaching. And the only thing that you know is that you know how to coach people, but it doesn't mean that you actually know how to build a business. And coaching's 10% coaching, it's 90% business. For those people, we designed a business jumpstart program. And it's $97 a month, but hold on, what do you get in that? You do get trained and certified because the life coach certification course is part of that. There's 20 core modules that teach you everything from how do you discover your target market? How do you discover your niche? How do you sell? How do you answer objections? How do you brand? We cover everything. We teach you how to create multiple streams of income. All of these things are included in the core modules, but every week I do a live call with all the coaches who are part of that program. And you get me in a group setting to be able to ask any questions so that you're not getting stuck along the way. We help you get clear about everything from who your niche is and all of those other kinds of things so that you can build a practice that not only are you just coaching people, but that you're actually scaling your business so that you can break into wealth. There's an online community where you can get feedback on anything that you're working on, role play with other students, all of those things. Again, that price tag's only $97 a month with a 3-month minimum commitment. And for those of you who think, oh, it's a lot of money, this is how much it is. This little Starbucks is at least $3.25, right? That's if you get like just a cheap cup of coffee, but this is $97 a month. Most of you have never given it a second thought that you go and blow money on Starbucks or whatever. Some of you are into tea, not me, but whatever your vice is in terms of like, I need my caffeine fix or whatever. I guarantee you, if you actually looked in your budget, you're paying more for that. And you know what? It might be keeping you awake for a life that you don't really want. Is it giving you the tools, whatever you're doing, giving you the tools to build a 6-figure practice? And you need to know that the people that you're learning from, I'm a multi-6-figure coach. I don't try to make a big brag about that. I'm a pretty approachable, normal, frugal, down-to-earth kind of person. But I want you to know that you're learning from successful people. And we're not trying to give you a formula for success. We're trying to show you how to build a successful business and brand around yourself that's authentic and helps you break into wealth and to be who you want to be. Let me say hello to some people who said hello to me a while ago. There's Claire saying, thank you, appreciate you. Cookie from Charlotte, North Carolina. Santos says, Paul, you're an effective coach. Thank you, appreciate that. Evelyn has joined us from San Antonio. Ursula says, I can't hear you, but hopefully that came back. Sarah, welcome. Let's see, who else? Connie joining us from LA. Ursula from Georgia. And let's see. Santos says, we are phenomena creatures. I like that. Natalie joining us. Hey, long time no see. Yeah, good to see you. Keith joining us from New Jersey. Let's see, who else do I need to say hello to? Charisse from Charlotte. Santos says you need to take notes and you can watch the replay later. Charlie from Independence, Missouri. I know where that is. I lived in Missouri for a time when I was a kid in the boot heel of Missouri. Let's see, what else do I see? Mohammed, welcome. Doris from Chicago. Desiree says, I love this. This is so inspiring. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And she said, I needed to hear this. I'm so glad for that. Cookie giving a smiley face. Listen, I appreciate you guys all immensely. If anybody has any questions before we head out, do me a huge favor. For those of you who are still in the room, like and share this. It just tells Facebook we're doing a good job. And if you want to get trained and certified as a coach, there's a link inside the description. You can actually click on that and get more information about our Jumpstart program. We would love to do that. Mohammed's joining us from Jordan. Welcome, Mohammed. Thanks so much. That's so awesome. All right, I'm going to give it about 10 more seconds. If I don't see any more questions, then we are going to head out. But again, do me a huge favor, like and share this. Maria says, it's been great listening to you. Thank you so much for that. Adriana says, I like your presentation screen. How do I do that? Oh, let me see if I can give you a link to that really quick. Cool. Give me 1 second, and I am going to, because I like to actually give away things that we do. And when I say give away, I mean, because you can actually, now we have an upgraded version of this thing, and it's called Be Live. And what Be Live actually allows you to do, now they just changed things so that you can stream onto Facebook and YouTube simultaneously. They don't have the ability to do that to Instagram, and unfortunately, the Instagram thing's a little bit harder, and it's another step. But what I really encourage our coaches to do when you do anything live, if anybody's taken the time to watch you, say hello, make sure that you acknowledge people. Like anybody who's watching, it really means a lot that you're actually spending your time with me. Like that's not like it's no fluff. Like I love interacting with people and making connections with people and knowing people all over the world. It's really, really cool and very humbling. But Be Live is a little tool that you integrate with Facebook and everything else. And basically you get a little console, and what you're able to do is to click on the comments and to show them to people. So that link, if you click it, you can create a free account. Now you can get an upgraded account and do some other cool things on it. And of course, we don't have a free account, but you can use it for free. There's some limits on what you're able to do and how many broadcasts that you can do. But go on there, use that link, sign up. It'll take you like almost no time at all, because basically it just asks for your Facebook credentials, and then you can go across different platforms. So anyway, let's see. Andrea from Atlanta, thank you for access to the training. I will get certified. Excellent. That's so good. Dolores says, thanks for the inspiration. Santos says, expound a bit on influence of in relationship. I got a breakthrough from your teaching. Well, I think that, do you mean influence in terms of influence versus authority that you've heard me talk about? Are you talking about how we do that through online means? Adriana says, I love it. Thanks for sharing. You're welcome. A breakthrough from your teaching. I'm not really sure. You'd have to tell me what I was saying about that at the time. And then, because that might actually be like 30 minutes long or something like that. And I've taken a lot of you guys' time. So cool. Listen, I am going to assume that that is everything. Santos, if you want to message me and say, hey, you should talk about this on a Mentor Monday, tell me what it is, and I'll absolutely do it. So anyway, well, cool. Listen, I appreciate you guys all immensely. Please like and share this post. That would be super helpful for us. And have a great rest of your week. Take care.